Hello, my name is Daniela, and today I'm going to read an extract from the book Frankie's Magic Football, Frankie and the Dragon Curse, written by Frank Lampard, illustrated by Luella Wright, and published by Little Brown Books. Frankie felt a light breeze on his face. He blinked, and as his vision cleared, he saw that he was standing before a huge arched gateway. It was painted red, orange and green. Louise and Charlie were at his side, and Max stood at his feet, panting. "It's happened again, hasn't it?" said Charlie. "Where are we this time?" "The Forbidden City," said Louise, looking around. "I recognize it from my dad's photo album. We're in China." "I love Chinese food," yapped Max. Frankie jumped. It always surprised him when Max started speaking. But it was just part of the football's magic. "Chinese food doesn't love you," said Frankie. "Remember that time you ate all the leftovers from the takeaway off the kitchen table? He had to take you to the vet." "It was worth it," said Max. "Crispy tuck, yum." They wandered through the gateway, gazing up at the beautiful buildings. Wide open courtyards and broad steps led up to pagodas painted in gold and red. There were shrines surrounded by columns and green ponds, so still that Frankie could see his reflection in the water. For once, he realized the ball's magic hadn't changed his clothes. He was still wearing the same red sweatshirt and shorts from back home. "I wonder why the magic football brought us to the Forbidden City," said Louise. "Where is the football?" said Charlie. Frankie shrugged. Normally they had it with them, but he couldn't see it anywhere. Who knows? "Maybe we don't need..." He tailed off as his eyes landed on a poster tacked to the side of a bridge. It showed the porcelain football in full color. "Perhaps that's why we're here," he said. Louise read the poster. "It's in the Palace Museum. Let's go and have a look," said Frankie. It wasn't hard to find the museum, a 3-story building at the top of a huge set of steps. There were plenty of tourists standing in long queues. Just as they reached the top of the steps, Frankie heard an explosion of broken glass from above. Everyone looked up, shouting. Green smoke poured from several second-story windows. Almost at once, a shrill alarm sounded. "Ooh," said Charlie. "Something tells me that isn't good." Security guards surrounded the front of a building, blowing whistles and waving their arms. They began to marshal panicked visitors out of the museum. People were snapping pictures on their phones. "We should go inside," said Frankie. "Maybe we should mind our own business," said Charlie. "Frankie's right," said Louise. "The football brought us here for a reason." "But how can we get past the guards?" "Leave it to me," said Max. He charged off between people's feet. With his jaws, he grabbed one of the tapes that kept visitors in line. Frankie lost sight of him among the forest of legs, but the security guards were peering at the ground, shouting to one another. They certainly weren't paying attention to Frankie and his friends. Max's plan had worked. "Let's go," Frankie said. They darted through the open doors of the museum into an empty hall. The alarms were even louder here, making Frankie's ears ring. Louise snatched up a flyer and quickly read it. "The football is on display upstairs," she said. Max arrived by their side, skidding across the marble floor. "Good job, boy," said Frankie. So what do you think is happening in the museum? And do you think Frankie and his friends managed to save the day?